And we are live. Hi, hello, welcome everybody to our March 2026 demo day. Yay! For those of you who are joining us online, welcome. Please say hi in the chat, introduce where you're watching from, and let us know who you're cheering on from. I don't know if you could hear, but we have a huge crowd here. Go ahead again. So next time you should come here in person because it's awesome. Right. So anyway, welcome to everybody. I just want to flip my script so that I know what I'm talking about. Yes. Oh, what I forgot. My name is Rachel. I am the event community and career lead here at Wagon in Montreal. I'm very happy to be your MC this evening and to welcome you all to this very exciting demo day, which is the culmination of 2 boot camps. So our part-time data science and AI and also data analytics boot camp. And I just want to express to you all that this is something really unique, that we're having 2 different part-time boot camps showing what they've done. And part-time, just for you all to know, means that they were doing this while they were working in their free times, on the weekend, and nights. So they've been at this for 6 months. They've been doing this Tuesday and Thursday evenings after work or after other commitments, and they've been also doing this every day on Saturdays. So imagine that, all of their weekends gone for 6 months. I'm sure you're all really excited to be having weekends free again. But the reason why I'm bringing this up is we're very, very proud of you. We know it took a lot for all of you to be involved, to do everything that you did, and we want to congratulate you before anything else. So congratulations to all of you for all of your hard work and for everything that you've done over the past 6 months with us. So what they'll be presenting today is their final pitches, which is ultimately the culmination of everything that they've done in those 6 months. So everything from starting off to now. And I'm very excited to get into those final pitches. But before that, I want to tell you a little bit about Le Wagon, because earlier I asked, who's been here before and who has not. So I would like to tell you a little bit about us and our history. But are you ready for that? Woo! Okay, prepare to learn about Le Wagon. So we are an immersive tech training program. We have been in existence since 2013. We were started in Paris. We've been here in Montreal since 2017. And our goal is to teach our students not only the hardware and the software of AI and of data and of web development, but also the importance of learning how to learn. So it's very important for us that our students understand that this is just the beginning of a longer journey into whatever it is that they decide that they'd like to do next in their careers, whether that be upskilling and just doing something a little more technically involved, or reskilling and doing something completely different. So, yes, we have an alumni of 31,000 students, which I think is really important because we're in over 25 cities around the world globally. And what I think is very exciting is that we're going to be adding to that number this evening. So one of the reasons why our bootcamp is so highly rated is because our bootcamp is quite different than others. We really believe in real-time learning. We believe in small classes, and we believe on one-on-one support. So everything is always very small. We have a ratio of 1 teacher to 10 students at max. And the reason being is that we want to make sure that the teachers and the students feel comfortable with one another to ask any questions that they may have about the curriculum, about moving forward, or anything like that. It's very important for us that it's a very personalized experience and that it's something that is meaningful and that can be helpful for them moving forward. But it's not all fun and games. This is actually Geshen during the boot camp. We understand that it wasn't all fun and games, that it was very hard and that you pushed past insecurities and barriers, and we're really, really proud that you were able to accomplish what you were able to accomplish in the past 6 months. But why Le Wagon? So we know that each of you had your different reasons for joining the bootcamp. As we said, some of you were here to pivot your careers entirely. Others are here because you're trying to jump off from a new point in your technical skills. But regardless of your reasons, you're all here to forge your own path toward a future that aligns with your personal goals. So let me tell you a little bit more about what that actually means. So we teach our students the technical skills that they need in order to enter the fields of AI software development, data analytics, data science and AI, and now introducing in Canada, data engineering. So let me tell you really quickly what each of those do. So the AI software development bootcamp will focus on both front and back end coding, and teachers and students will work through lessons in order to create a full stack app from scratch. Data analytics is all about building visual dashboards and creating a data story. Data science and AI will focus on the ins and outs of machine learning and Python. And data engineering will focus on data pipelines. But let me explain what that means a little more. So we're very excited to be launching this coming September. It's a shorter, more advanced boot camp, and it will prepare you all for roles such as data engineer, analytics engineer, AI engineer, or cloud data engineer. So these roles focus on infrastructure beyond data. So what that means is building pipelines, designing systems, and making sure your data moves reliably at scale. In this program, you will start with fundamentals like Python and Docker, and then move into data pipelines with tools like Kubernetes and Kafka, Airflow and Spark, while working with industry tools such as BigQuery, dbt, and GCPs. So if anybody has any interest or is curious about the curriculum, I highly recommend you take a peek at the syllabus, and you can get to that by putting the QR code or taking a photo of the QR code here. So, are you all ready for the actual demos? Woo! Okay, so let me get to the form where I actually have everybody's information because I don't know their projects off the top of my head. Sorry. I used to actually tape this together, so I didn't have this experience right now. So just like clap for me while I'm trying to find the right piece of paper. Woo, woo, woo. Sorry. Let's do it. Okay. Sorry. Okay. So we're going to start with data analytics. And let me tell you a little bit about their curriculum. So they learn the full process of working with data, from sourcing and cleaning it to analyzing and interpreting it. They start with tools that we all know, such as Excel, and then we tackle some more advanced tools such as Python, SQL, and various data visualization platforms. So their goal is to uncover the powerful insights hidden within the data. So we're going to begin today with a project put together by Amir, Iman, and Barbara called Neobank Churn Analysis, which will analyze the factors that influence user retention and churn in neobanks. So with that, I'd like to invite Iman and Amir to the stage.
Hello, everyone. I would like to present our project, Neobank Churn Analysis. First of all, I want to talk to you about what is the neobank. Neobank is a digital bank with no physical branches. Why we should we use the churning in this project? Because the high competition makes keeping customer crucial. So we study churn to see why user leave and how to keep them. Okay. First of all, we built a churn dashboard that combines behavior activity, user features, and transactional history. This goal is not only to measure how much churn is happening, but also to understand why it happened and where we can act. And our analysis show that inactive user for a long period without completed transaction are more likely to leave. So, why churn matters? Churn usually happens after user starts disengaging. You know, it's very important to monitor early warning signal like recency, low transaction, and communication engagement. The key question is what makes users stay and what makes them leave. We can identify behavior pattern and convert into the risk trigger and test them via A/B experiment and also targeted outreach. So, as you can see, we have a user activity uh, table graph with a churn risk. User with no activity or low activity have a very high probability of churning. On the other hand, we have activity users have a much lower churn. One important observation is that is a threshold effect. Once user reach a minimum level of activity, their churn risk drops significantly. So that means priority should be activation. We should follow up these people after signing up and follow the people and push them to first and second transaction. And it's very helpful for increasing our project. Okay. Next one is it's about subscription plan. As you can see, the churn is different for each plan. The starter plan has the most churn because most users are in this plan. We should look at the both of parameters and churn count and churn rate. And on the other hand, we have paid plans. It's the premium and metal plan. As you can see, they have a lower churn. So we should focus on the standard plan users. This approach can reduce the total churn the most. The next step, we review about review notification. And as you can see, the notification is not show the nonlinear pattern. The lowest churn appears when user receive a moderate level of communication. The relevance and timing are more important than message volume. However, we should be careful because notification may show use behavior, not necessarily cause it. And about cohort retention heat map. Retention heat map highlights the importance of early engagement. User active in the first week usually stay longer, but user who miss early milestone become inactive and may churn. So it's very important focus on the first week and find the solution by using methods such as reduce friction or give incentives for early use. Now, based on this insight, we propose several actions. First of all, increase early engagement. As I said, we can use the incentives for the first transaction. The second one is the monitoring activity signals. Detection is very important. This is the first step of our procedure. The third one is optimize notification strategy. As I said, it's very important to avoid over communication. You know, it's not need to send a lot of message to client and users. You can, instead of it, use the personalized notification and stuff like that. And the last one is the focus on high impact segments. As I said, we should focus on the standard plan users. It is helpful to reduce the churn the most. And finally, to summarize, user churn is mainly driven by low engagement, inactivity, poor communication strategy. The best predictor are activity level and recency. Communication can help, but it must be relevant and well timed. And the process can be summarized as the detection, segmentation, intervention, testing, and improvement. Thank you so much. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you. Thank you, Amir, Iman, and Barbara. I'm gonna just, okay. Actually, this is, well, anyway. We're gonna continue on with the data science. Yeah, can you go back one? Thank you. Because thank you for our data analytics project, yay. We're gonna move on to data science, and I wanted to put this slide up because I think it's important to explain what they're learning at the Data Science and AI Bootcamp by explaining the curriculum a little bit. So students start by mastering the fundamentals, so we're talking about Python, SQL, and statistics. Then they level up, diving into machine learning and deep learning, all under the broader umbrella of AI. And then all the way they learn how to analyze data sets and predict outcomes for problems that are so complex that only computers can really solve them. So that's essentially what they are learning. And we're gonna have our first project here. Coming up on stage, we have Jean-Yves and Martine from Cintech, who will be presenting SaferFood, which is a scientific decision support app designed to help users assess whether a food is safe to eat or not. And this was very, very special for us, and I think Jean-Yves will explain a little bit more because this was a special collaboration that we did with Cintech, and I'll let you do a really good job of explaining it, so I'll let you do that.
Yeah, thank you very much, Rachel and Antoine, for giving us the opportunity to present our company and the reasons why we attended the Wagon bootcamp. So, first of all, a little bit of context. Martin and I, we work at Cintech. It's a non-profit applied research organization that is in Saint-Hyacinthe in the South Shore. And since 1986, we support businesses in the agri-food sector with different services. So of course, we do research and development, but we also do, for example, industrial transfer and consumer and the sensory research and much more. So every year, we deliver more than 250 projects for 100 different clients. AI and ML are rapidly transforming most industrial sectors, yet agri-food is still lagging behind in the adoption of these technologies. At Cintech, our mission is to help the companies to improve the quality, the safety, and the competitiveness of their products through innovation. However, we had no internal expertise on AI, and at the same time, the number of projects AI-related that we currently handle is not important enough to justify hiring a full-time specialist. So this meant that some opportunities to explore AI-based solutions to help the sector modernize were simply out of reach for us. In our ecosystem, we have first the food processors that are expert on their product, but have little knowledge of AI. We also have the AI providers, we have a strong technical expertise, but very limited understanding of the food system and the industrial food processing. And in between, we have Cintech. Our role is to act as a kind of translator and facilitator between those two worlds and connect real industry needs with the right AI solution. To play that role effectively, we decided to train 2 members of our team. So after reviewing several options, we chose Wagon Bootcamp because it offered a well-structured program that we could follow while continuing our daily work at Cintech. So that was a key selling point for our CEO. We plan to leverage this training through a simple 3-step approach. So first, we identify relevant use cases. Then we develop proof of concept to quickly test whether AI can bring real value. And if that is the case, we build a collaborative project bringing together the client, an AI partner, and Cintech that will act as a translator between them to make sure the client has a complete solution that fits his need. At the same time, we'll also apply those new skills internally to improve our administrative processes and accelerate and enhance the other R&D work that we already do for our clients. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce to you SaferFood, the app that turns food safety from something we discover too late to something that we can predict in advance.
Hi, everyone. So why SaferFood? Well, before the food that is in our plate comes to us, it goes through a long journey and a complex journey. It starts at the farms, then to the factories, the trucks, the grocery stores, and finally kitchens. And this results in a massive global problem. Well, every year, around 10 million people only in the US get sick from food poisoning. So just last week, there was a recall due to E. coli on ground meat. And this is one of many more recalls that happens during the last 4 months. So today, ensuring food safety is surprisingly difficult. Microbiological testing is expensive, it is slow, it is destructive. This means that tests are done only occasionally on the food, and because you have to destroy the sample you're testing to know if it's contaminated. And this leaves a large uncertainty between tests. On the other side, classical predictive microbiology models are limited. They rely on simplified assumptions and cannot always capture the complexity of real food systems, storage conditions, and microbial interactions. So here's our solution, SaferFood. SaferFood uses AI to predict microbial growth and food safety risks. Combining scientific models and machine learning, it estimates how bacteria evolve based on food type, temperature, and storage time. In minutes, users can visualize microbial risk, remaining shelf life, and safety thresholds without destructive testing. So the goal is simple: turn food safety from reactive testing into predictive intelligence. SaferFood can help reduce foodborne illness and minimize waste and give consumers a smarter way to manage food safety. To build our model, well, we use a public database named Combase. It's a scientific database containing data from microbiology studies. It contains thousands of time series measurements based on growth bacteria and bacterial growth across 46 microorganisms and hundreds of food matrices. And because the database contains a lot of, sorry, I'm doing it again. Because the database contains a lot of data that lacked standardized growth conditions, we performed an extensive data cleaning pre-processing, and we focused on the highest quality data of the database. We then selected the most food categories and microorganisms that are most commonly linked to food poisoning and recalls. We then tested multiple machine learning and deep learning models to find the most accurate one. And well, you can see here on the graph, the blue dots that are real measurements. And the dotted lines here is the traditional scientific model that clearly underestimates the bacterial growth, which is not so good when you're talking about food safety. And here in red, you can see our AI model that fits the data much more and predicts and has a better prediction for the bacterial growth. So now, who wants to experience the app?
Okay, so now that we've shown you the science behind our model, let me demonstrate, or in fact it's Martin that will do it, how SaferFood works in practice. Let's start with the first example. So when I went shopping 2 days ago, I forgot a piece of poultry in my car. So the temperature was around 25 degrees. It's a black car in the sun. So it's a very high risk temperature. So if I left it for 2 days, should I eat it? So yeah, that's a good answer. So the dashboard immediately displays the results of the risk analysis. And what I see here is that my food is not safe for consumption. So the model predicts a high risk of E. coli and Salmonella that are two major foodborne pathogens. And the spoilage bacteria are already at the caution level. So that means that my chicken is probably starting to smell a little bit off. Below that, SaferFood also estimates the remaining shelf life. In this case, of course, this chicken belongs to the trash. But SaferFood goes one step further. I need some help to understand what all these numbers means for me. So when I click the button, the app provides clear explanation on the risk based on model prediction. It explains why E. coli and Salmonella are dangerous, which populations are more vulnerable, like, for example, young children, elderly, or people with immune conditions. And it also highlights what symptoms to watch for. So, for example, headache or fever or abdominal pain. So instead of just giving a warning, the app helps me understand the risk and that allows me to make an informed decision. So if I decide to eat the chicken anyway, I know what to expect. Now, let's look at the second scenario. This time, I took a steak out of the fridge. Instead of selecting the food, I will simply upload a picture of that food. The AI recognizes it automatically, and now we can set the temperature at 4 degrees because it was in the fridge, and the storage time of, let's say, 2 hours. When I click on the should I eat it again, this time the dashboard shows good news. The food is safe to eat. The model also estimates the remaining shelf life of my food at almost 9 days. And since the food is safe, the application can now suggest recipes that are really adapted to the microbial risk levels. It's coming. Just a moment. Yeah, that's here. Okay. So the recipe is adapted to my food, my risk level, and also we have not only the recipe, also an AI-generated image of what the dish should look like when I finish preparing it. So but that's AI-generated. You cannot trust it, that's sure. So in just in few seconds, SaferFood can go from risk assessment to actionable guidance. It helps the user evaluate food safety, but also understand the microbial risk, estimate shelf life, and even find safe ways to cook their food. So because at the end, our goal is simple. Food safety shouldn't rely on guesswork. It should rely on prediction. So thanks for your attention and stay safer.
Thank you, Jean-Yves. Thank you, Martine. That was definitely yummy looking steak. So to conclude our evening, we have one last demo to share, which will be presented by Geshen and Alexi for their group, which also included Didier and Mame. And they'll be presenting ImageTruth, which uses a vision transformer technology to distinguish real images from AI-generated images. So let's see. Show us.
Good evening, everyone. With the growth of generative AI tools right now, basically AI can generate the images which looks identical to the real images. So this raises a question, can we still believe what we see online? So we build a system based on this question. The name is ImageTruth, was to detect the AI images, and if it's AI images, we detect the AI generators of that AI image. So let's see some statistics. AI images created 17 billion since 2022, and 34 million every day right now. But with our human being eyes, we can only reach like around 55% to detect if it's AI or not AI images. Let's look at an example of a real case in our life in the laws field. Someone submitted an AI image chat history as their evidence in the judgment to show the lawyer. So which means AI image is actually causing some problems right now. And not only the law field, also some other fields like social media, stock photos, university and new media, e-commerce are seeking for the solution for AI images. The market is grow from 1.2 billion to 8.7 billion by 2030. So why AI images is a problem? As we can see, AI images grows exponentially every day. Right now, they can learn. So before AI create image with bad pixels, there used to be some hand, for example, comes from nowhere in the picture, but right now they learn, they are improved. So by our human being eyes, we cannot detect them basically. So our solution comes up, ImageTruth. We need a smart approach, which use vision transformer. Vision transformer is something like GPT, but it's for images, which breaks images into patches, cuts the image into small puzzle pieces, and analyze the pieces relations between those pieces, and make a smart decision for you. So you will ask how our models work. So here you go. This is how our models work. Our model basically works for two parts. The first part is to detect if an image is AI or not. In this part, it's just asked to give a quick answer, AI or not. It reaches 91% of the accuracy. And the second part is if it's AI image, it gives the details of the image. For example, which generator generated this AI image. Let's look at our data set, why this model is powerful. We trained on a tiny Gen image data set, which contains 35,000 images, real images from our life, and the data set contains the 7 AI generators, which is really popular right now. For example, it's Midjourney, Wukong, SDV, Stable Diffusion, but forget about jargons. Just remember, we detect AI image generators for you. And let's see how the application works. This is our application, ImageTruth, real or AI. We have dark mode and light mode. Let's use light mode just for better visibility. Okay, so ImageTruth, we detect real or AI. In the most of my cases, I would just drop a single picture to let's see what happened. Okay, there you go. This is a real image, and the confidence level is about 99.4%, which means 100% this is a real image. Also, you can see some details of the picture. For example, the dimension and the certainty. Certainty is a category based on the percentage of confidence level. So let's see if I want to predict another image. There you go, fast, and you see the result really direct. This is a AI-generated Leo Messi, and a part of the confidence level, it's 99.7, so basically also 100%, this is AI-generated. More than that, you could see the picture generated 50% of the percentage, it's generated by Midjourney. So Midjourney is really like the most popular AI generators right now. They're used in many cases. And also we can see the dimension of the picture. it's a large picture. It's with a lot of pixels, and also the certainty is high. So now I don't want to just predict one picture one by one. Let's say I have two pictures, and I want to know what's the difference. Or before that, let's say I want to get some picture not on my local machine only. I want to grab some picture on the website. There you go. This is the real picture of NBA All-Star LeBron James. And let's try another. Do you guys think this is a real picture or AI picture? Yeah, definitely. Okay, 99%. So, and 97%, this is also the Midjourney, so which means Midjourney is quite popular right now. So let's see right now, I don't want to just predict pictures one by one. I have two pictures, but I don't know what's the difference between them. So before that, no, 5. Okay, these pictures looks quite similar, but what's the difference between them? In the right-hand side, this is a picture I grabbed from a website. It's a picture from man. It's someone took for him, and it's a real image. But in the left-hand side, it's everybody knows who he is. I don't need to explain. But what I want to tell everybody is this picture I modified based on this picture by ChatGPT, and I switch ahead of this man Donald Trump. So our model did it. So you don't need to really generate a new picture. Even though you might made modification on the existing picture, we can do that. So let's say right now, another situation. I don't want to compare. I have 100 pictures. What's going to happen? Okay, throw everything to the model. Analyze all. We tell you the results with like 2-3 seconds, fast and quite straightforward. The picture and the label of the picture, like if it's real or an AI, and the percentage level, as you can see, it's quite straightforward. So that's all about our application. And this is the bottom line of our application. It's like generally it's a conclusion of our application, which the most important part is our accuracy. It's 91% and production ready, available right now. Last is another one. Last, I want to thanks to everybody and thanks for my teammates, the dedication of this project. That's all about our application. Thanks, teams.
Okie dokie. Congratulations, y'all. You did it. Oh, wait. I haven't even cued her photo, though. No, that's not it. Aww. I want to congratulate you all for completing your Le Wagon experience, and we're very, very proud of you. So congratulations to you all. Very happy. I should have taken the clicker. But instead, we have something very special planned for right now. So I'm going to invite 3 people here on stage, Stefania, Andrew, and Saeed, 2 are alumni, 2 are teachers. That's confusing because that's 4, but there you'll find out. But I need help with the chairs. So can we just, we'll do that for a second. And I think we'll put them here. This is the furthest that can go to the right, and then we can go left. I think so. Wait, no. So hold on. Can you hold this? Okay. Here. Wait. Here. Antoine, does that work? Yeah. Okay. This works. You can be closer. Rachel. Yeah. Do you want to circle? Like that? Like a line? No, like a circle?
Semicircle.
Are we getting the musical chairs?
Oh.
Like that? Like this? Okay, like this. I think one is live and one is not. Is this one on? No. This one's on? Okay. This one's going to be on in a second. You can hold this one. Go in. Go sit. Go sit. All right.
Wait, but we're out of order.
Oh.
You can't tell who's who.
Okay. I know, isn't it weird? Okay, so here I go. So we have a really fun panel today. I will let them explain who's the teacher, who's the alumni, and who's both. So welcome, Stefania, Saeed, Andrew. Thank you so much. So I invited. Well, I guess I'm gonna tell. I invited Andrew and Saeed. Sorry, spoilers. I invited Andrew and Saeed because they also did the part-time boot camp. So I thought it would be really interesting for you all to hear the perspective from somebody who's been in your toes, your shoes. And then I also invited Stefania and Saeed because they've been your teachers. And so they know what you've been up to, what you've been doing. And I don't know if you've ever had a chance to grill them. So I'm going to grill them for you and ask some questions. But first, I kind of told people who you are, but I realized I don't have all the information. So I would love for you to each introduce yourselves a little better and explain, what you do, what you did before you got into data science or into data, and a little bit about your journey really quickly. And I'll share this one too. So I'll start with Stefania.
I have the first position, right? So, hi everyone. Yes, so I'm Stefania, and I think, how can I introduce myself? I can just tell that I'm not a data person. Now I am, but I was not. I started with a linguistics background, and then at some point after learning different languages and culture, I was like, okay, nice, but what I do with that? And that's how I basically put together two passions of mine, languages and computer science. At the time, there was something new called computational linguistics. And I started all my journey through the world to learn about computational linguistics, programming, and then generative AI today. Before it was only NLP. What else? I work also with UNESCO to make sure that however right now we have a lot of generative AI content, we have a lot of people using AI, we don't have all the instruction properly. Governments have not the proper instructions. So I work with UNESCO, making sure that we can educate people and also the governments and create those policies that hopefully soon will also protect the citizens around the world. I'm very active in the community. I am the lead of Women Tech Makers Montreal. So my mission is to make sure that women, it's okay, they're just listening, it's okay. So we make sure that women can enter the tech field and especially they can stay there. We provide workshop, tech talk, soft talk, and especially we are all together every year to make sure that we can grow all together as a community here in Montreal and in general as a community globally as women. And I could talk for a lot of time, but I'm happy to be here and that's it.
Cool, well, thank you. So I'm Saeed. I started taking these classes in 2023. Before that, I studied architecture. I graduated from McGill, and then I entered the video game industry. I was working as in quality assurance, and then I started to think about what else I want to do, and then I became familiar with the world of data because my brother is a data engineer, and so. Through two different people, I got recommended to Wagon. I think one of them had done it in France, the other one in Montreal, even though he was French from France. And then, I just reached out, took the classes. It went really well. So afterwards, I was job hunting, and then I also went back here, or came back to Wagon and started teaching some workshops. and there was an opportunity to start teaching the actual courses. But yeah, so currently I work at Behavior, the same video game company that I've been for the past 5 or 6 years. And I just switched over to a data analyst role. And we actually met at Behavior at
We
first.
work together.
Yes,
Yes.
we are. And then it came back, yeah. So yeah, that's just general information about me.
Hello, I am not a teacher at Wagon.
Found him.
What? Pardon?
Found you.
Sorry, I'm the odd one out here. My name's Andrew. I did the data science part-time project 3 years ago. I actually have quite the crazy eclectic background, I guess like probably all of us, but I was actually a music teacher in high school in the United States. COVID happened and well, the music is one of the first things to go. So I realized, hey, let's move somewhere. I picked Montreal, didn't know the language, never been there before. So I got to move here and experience it all. I was actually a house mover. I moved people's houses and apartments. I didn't realize the whole stair thing, the triplexes. Big mistake, but I did that while being a professional musician in the city as a jazz trumpet player. Unfortunately, I got really badly hurt. I tore my ACL, MCL, sprained my kneecap very bad. And I realized immediately that I had to do something that's not related to like just moving stuff up and down stairs. So I actually played a lot of performances with Ellie Heimowitz, who went to Wagon and does a lot of React development. And he said I should try this out, and I did. And data science felt more kind of like something, I like numbers, why not? Same thing, right? And then I went through the projects and I loved them. I loved everything I did, and I came out of it and I have so many cool things to talk about. And I kind of got into the actual working world as a data entry guy for a consulting firm. And then in a few weeks, I got promoted to data analyst. And then that became just a consulting role just for particular aviation clients in the area. Then I moved over to a logistics firm where I controlled basically IT, and I was basically just everything related to technology for them because they're so small. But that's how it goes, I guess. And during that time, I actually started a master's degree online at Eastern University in data science. I finished that, and then I got a full ride to Concordia University for a master's in business analytics and technology management while I did at the same time. And then when I finished my courses for that, I got hired by Bell to be a data scientist for them. For a few months, I got moved over to lead, but then I left Bell because I got headhunted for my current role as data strategy manager, which is more along the lines of like a chief of staff for a department within AI services. Our company, Terzo, not many people know about it. It's okay, it's a startup. But recently we were on the top 30 startups to watch for 2026 by Business Insider for the next unicorn or something. So good for us, I guess. But it's a contract kind of a AI thing where I guess I've never really talked about it in public before, but it's like we take contracts from enterprise companies, things like SOWs, invoices, order forms, all text, all PDFs, all disgustingly hard to make into tabular data. And what do? We turn it into tabular data at scale. We do around 50,000 a week for many big businesses like Delta Airlines, Lumen Technologies, Humana, Pepsi. And we operate at that insane scale for an insane accuracy percent of 99.7% across all fields. And I'm just in charge of optimizing stuff. I get to talk to a lot of data scientists, but I'm not doing data science really anymore. The most data science I'm doing is Excel right now. But that's kind of my background, and that's what I do.
So I think that's a great jumping off point, because here I hear you all talking about data science as though it's your second language now. And I would be curious to know what the transition was like for you, because you do this boot camp and then you're thrown out into the world, and then what? So I'm curious to know, how long did it take you to feel comfortable in this world that you started to enter? Whoever would like to go first.
Well, I'm holding the microphone, so I guess I'll go for it. I would say probably like a few weeks ago. I cannot tell you how much imposter syndrome I was when I got hired to Bell as a data scientist specifically. The project manager who was in charge of what we were working on said, "Hey, you beat out a bunch of PhDs. You got this." And I'm like, "What?" And like I felt so like this is the big leagues now. But it turns out it actually it actually did like pay off. It took a lot of time, but I realized the work we do at Wagon is like very fast. It's about getting something, getting in concept, and getting a project and making it happen. And 6 months is, at least for a company like Bell, a very, very short amount of time. So like my entire time there for 6 months, I was basically working on 2 things every day, 8 hours a day kind of thing, versus the kind of quicker scale we went here. But the level of impact is very similar. I have to say, now that I'm in a position where I could just kind of talk about it and I'm not doing it as much, I feel a lot more comfortable, because I do feel more comfortable actually speaking to people rather than just coding all day. And that's fine. You know, we all have our strengths, right? And as long as we lean into that and focus on what we can build up and build up our other skills as well, we'll become effective specialists for whatever we want to be, with the general skills to be able to adapt to anything.
For me, I would say, because to increase my chances of finding a job, I was exploring different fields. So, you know, doing more data analytics, data engineering, and of course here I studied data science. When I got the data analyst job, I thought it would take me like a couple of months to get comfortable with the role, but I would say it was like at the 6 months point in time that I was like, okay, I feel like now I've fully integrated into the team, comfortable with the workload, with workflow, the communication with the team and everything. And this was when I was on the same project but different role. So even though I was already familiar with the company and the project, it still took me a good 6 months to get comfortable. And as mentioned before, it's like the pacing is very different when you're studying here, and it's a intense bootcamp versus even as a part-time, versus when you're actually working, then you have more flexibility on time. I mean, you still get tasks that really need to be done as soon as possible, but it's more fluid. Yeah.
Okay, how can I reply to this question? I think I started to be more like in peace with myself as a data scientist, data specialist, whatever is the name. Probably when I started to work at Behavior, because I was finally, for the first time, in a team where there were a lot of other people with the same role as me. So we were all data scientists. And at that point, I realized how data science is so big that no matter what you are doing, there will be always something to learn. And at the same time, you will be always the person that can help the others, because you will have something that they don't have. So for me, it was super interesting. At that point, I would say I switched how I was looking at things. And it helped me a lot, because at some point I was like, okay, I know how to handle data. I know how I can learn new stuff for the data that I have. And I finally changed my mind into, okay, I want to build with data. And I think this changed also my life, because right now I'm really able to build with data and with AI. I work with several companies every month. So I think, and I think it's a positive thing also to be in that space where at first it's like, I don't know where I am. I have to learn a lot of stuff. I'm not enough. Because at that point, you will realize that, first of all, you are not alone. And second, it's totally normal, because data science and AI is changing a lot and is evolving. So, and it's a good challenge.
So what I'm hearing from all of you is that you were like feeling deep imposter syndrome, even as you were job searching, even as you were. So do you have any tips or tricks for how do you continue to put your best foot forward, even if you're scared? Whoever wants to go first.
So I always say the same: be curious, no matter what. Don't wait for that particular interview or that particular project to start working on a different project that you don't know anything about the technique, the method, or I don't know, the model. One thing that I usually also say is we all have things in our life that are annoying. that we don't want to do. As a data scientist, or however, as a data people, right now you have the occasion to transform those tasks in a way that is more fun for you. First of all, to build a system that can work for you, and then to see actually how is it working. So I will say this is my best advice. Just have fun and be curious. And you have the microphone.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say this is where you can turn one of the weaknesses into a strength. Like if you have imposter syndrome, it's like it already shows that you care about your job, that you feel like you're not doing enough. And so this can push you to work harder and actually be more curious and do more. And I would say this helps you out in the long term. And yeah, again, going back to the curiosity, I think that's really the starting point, because working on different projects that come through curiosity and problem solving, you kind of create a portfolio that whenever you have a job opportunity, you can talk about them and say, like, here's a project that I worked on. And this shows how you have a sharp eye, how you basically notice things that could be improved, in addition to your technical skills, that you can say, here's how I turned an idea into a real project. Even if it's not finished, even if it's just from the initial concept, as long as you can talk about it and present it, and even if you have something in progress and not finalized, it still shows that you are able to take that step, because that is, I would say, the most important thing.
I think one of the biggest things that allows you to be comfortable within a space is your own passion and interest being shown and brought out there. Like, I'm a musician, still am, despite that. And I do everything in my power to connect my love of data, statistics, analytics with music. And that allows me to just kind of think of things I want to create on my side. It's a Sunday morning. I could maybe make this thing. And then I have a thing now. I have data that I can actually work with, I could build with. I'm realizing that there's research that hasn't been done in the music industry that I am doing because I am just interested in it. And now I have the skill set to actually talk about it. That allows you to become a lot more confident in what you do. If you're not going after a subject that you actually care about, it's harder to talk about things because they are like kind of theoretical. You don't have anything you could ground it to. You could be talking about RMSE, but what does that really mean? For what you're talking about? What is the negative aspect of having bad accuracy, of a false positive, of a false negative? What does that really mean for you, for people, for your community that you care about, that you're part of? What does that mean? Try and link it together. And I can tell you that will make a huge difference when you're talking to anyone about it, because no one really cares about RMSE. They care about the difference it makes by having a lower one, right?
So I particularly asked you all because you've kind of evolved into what you're doing now while doing something else. Like in your free time, you spent a lot of time upskilling. Data science, AI are moving at rapid speed. I would love to know if you have any tips or tricks for how do you continue to upskill while you're working. Who wants to go first? Podcast suggestions? I don't know.
No, I'm very bad for a podcast because I try to listen to them. And at some point, I'm like doing other stuff. Like, I don't know where I am. So it depends on how much effort you want to put on these. Suggestions that I can give that are super interesting to test. First of all, there is something that I think you know already, some of you, because I saw in some slide content that probably was from there. Notebook LM, which is basically something from Google where you can transform any sources online in the way that you like to learn. So it might be a podcast, it might be, tables, it might be a report, it might be flashcards, if you like flashcards. So this is something that basically you can use as a starting point. Let's suppose you have not a lot of time, but you want to just explore something new. You will let Notebook LM export all the things for you, and then you will see, okay, these are the things that are interesting for me, these are the things I don't like, these are the things that I don't understand, so that's a good point where you can start learning. Other stuff that I will do is make sure that you know what is happening around you, but without becoming like, how can I say, without being an obsession, because everything that it is out there, like you have a lot of news, you have a lot of things that will change, things that will contradict themselves. So it's not important to be every time in depth on what is happening, but it's important to know why it is happening and what might happen in the future. Try to understand this, because it will also help you understanding what is the next skill that you need for your work. And in that case, you can just read a lot of news, or one thing that I will suggest here, you can also create a N8N server that will basically create your newsletter only for you in a way that you want. Maybe one day we'll explore also this. But basically, there are a lot of stuff out there that you can easily use to create your own newsletter automatically. So you can have a digest in your email, I don't know, every Monday. What else? YouTube, I really like YouTube. There are a lot of channels that I can share after, if you want. That's interesting because you can like eat your dinner and see at least what are the most trending AI stuff and data stuff. That's it, I will say.
You have anything else to share or to add?
I was going to say, I think just a quick thing, and ironically, I'm not the teacher on this panel, but I really think being able to teach, if not teach, but talk to someone who doesn't understand this stuff about this stuff, it'll force you to really be able to talk about it, which is a great way to refine the skills you have. Because I think this is so funny, but there's so many data scientists out there who have no idea how to talk to people who aren't data scientists about data science. And that is a really bad thing. You need to be able to talk to people who have 1 minute, who have no idea what you're talking about and really don't care. So you have to make them care. So being able to do that with your friends at a party, just like, hey, data science, RMSE, right? No, like you got to be able to like actually have a story to tell, something that's interesting, something that says, oh, what did you do for the past 6 months at Wagon? What was that? You know? Can you say that in a minute right now? Can you explain that? Try. I think it's a really good way to kind of refine your skills and actually start talking to people about this stuff.
Yeah, nothing much to add, but I think I have an example of what you said, which is, again, at a party, I was talking to someone who was a researcher, and I was explaining what I do, and she said, oh, I have a lot of like text and interview transcripts that I need to basically have a search engine for. But the thing is, not like there are some keywords that during the interview it may not have been used, and so I said, yeah, we can use one of these machine learning models that basically finds words and then finds the synonyms and then looks through the text with the synonyms and give you the results. And that was kind of how I explained it. And so we went on to work on this project together, and I presented this as one of the projects that I had done after my bootcamp through my portfolio in my interviews, and I feel like that helped me in getting a job at the end.
So talking, networking, meeting people, explaining. I love all of that. I'm going to ask one last question because I actually, do any of you have any questions that you would like to ask while we have these three up here? Because if not, I can ask a final question. Okay. So, I guess you kind of all of said this already, how you've merged your past experiences with your data science. And I think, Saeed, it was really interesting to hear about how you continued, how you created projects afterwards. So I know that not everybody here is looking for jobs. Some of them have done it through their office. Some of them are maybe trying to bring these skills into their office. Do you have any advice as to like what their next steps can be? Like, is it working on new projects? Is it how would you pitch it to your boss? Like anything like that. like things that could be useful for taking this to the next level?
I have a suggestion if you want to pitch it to your boss. Just highlight how much money they can basically save. They will work always, always.
Oh, that was it. Okay. Yeah, I guess I was also I was working on the daily task that I had as a tester, and then because I was working closely with the level designers, I had an idea of how to use machine learning and basically help the level design team to improve their not improve but like streamline their future designs. And this was something I talked with the programmers team, with the level designers team, and with the data team. And even though this specific conversation didn't reach an end, but it created this network that afterwards one of the data analysts actually wanted like a heat map, and this was part of the idea that I had. And so I basically introduced the data analyst to the programmer, and then they talked to each other, and they had someone else from another programmer's team to work on a prototype. And basically that's like from an idea that I had, it brought some networking and conversation, and it went full circle because now I'm the person who makes these heat maps. Not necessarily in the same way that I had thought of using the machine learning models, but it's funny how all this conversation went full circle. So yeah, I think if you have an idea, definitely talk about it. If you have numbers that you can provide to show how much money you can save or gain in addition, definitely do that. Otherwise, I think there's still worth to just sharing the idea with the people that can be involved, because you never know what's going to happen afterwards.
Yeah, I'm going to say money as well. Like it's what matters for a lot of businesses at the end of the day. And I have a quick anecdote from the first project I worked on at Bell. There's not a whole lot I can actually say about it, but a portion of what I can say about it is that I was handed a project where it's like, oh, you're new, here's something easy. Just refine this, make it professional. I get the opportunity to talk to the person who actually hired us essentially to make this project. And I was able to kind of quantify the importance of this. And once it became 8 figures of cost that was variable, that was like, what? When I told the director about this, he was like that. It's like, okay, what resources do you want? And this is a project that existed at the company for at least 5 years, and no one ever quantified it in dollars. And once we were able to say, okay, there's variability of the 8 figures per year, they're going to start noticing and trying to make that happen. And if you could successfully deliver on that project and reduce that 8 figures to 6, then that's going to make waves no matter what, across everything, 100%.
And I will say, when you cannot talk about money, because it might happen, there is a second key that is try to solve problems. Mm-hmm. And this work it will not work directly with your boss or any lead, but it will work with people around you. And that then it will help basically to have their voices to make sure that the boss will listen to you. So it's super important too. And one thing that I want, however, to highlight, of course, when in case you are in a job interviews and you want to say that you are ready to solve the problem that you just listened to, I would avoid that, because sometimes people overreact in a way that you don't know our company well and so on. But however, what you can do is more, oh, I was listening to what you were saying. I remember a project where I worked on, it was very similar. So blah, 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 blah. And that's it. So practical tips.
It's just a one little thing. Another synonym that might be, that I think illustrates a lot of what we're talking about in a similar way, is that time equals money. Remember that. If it's money that you're saving, great. If it's time you're saving, that is also money. It's just harder to quantify how much dollar that is because you're talking about people's salaries usually. But if you're saving time, you are saving money. So time is also a great metric.
Amazing. Well, thank you all for your advice and for being here today. They're going to stick around afterwards. So if you have any questions, if you want to talk to them more, if you want to know more about the program, because Saeed and Andrew did it and Stefania teaches part of it, so you can get some firsthand knowledge. And thanks. Yeah. Let's move the chairs. We'll move the chairs. I'll take this mic. Thank you. And I'll give this to you. All right, so we're reaching the end of our evening, and before that, I want to thank all of the teachers who have helped you on your journey. So some of them are here today, some of them are here virtually, but thank you to all of you for being a part of the data analytics and data science boot camps. You can raise your hands and we'll give you a clap because it's really been wonderful. And if you're in the audience and this sounds interesting to you, if you've been inspired, if you're curious, we have upcoming intakes for all 4 of our boot camps now, and I have dates here behind me. And if you have any questions about any of the boot camps, you can always ask me afterwards, MG or Antoine. And for those of you who are online, hopefully Antoine or somebody will be sending a link so that you can see where to get access and information about all of our upcoming boot camps. Oh, I don't know if I'm even on, there we go. I don't know if I'm on stage. So, but also you can use this QR code. So if you have any questions, if you want to think about it, you can scan this QR code and you will have access to the admissions team, or you can just talk to us because we're here. And we can explain to you more about what value you will get in learning these new technologies and understanding this language that is becoming so ubiquitous and it's all over the place. Every company is a tech company. The more that you understand these languages, the more that you understand what AI is, what LLMs are, what GPTs do, what front end is, what data engineering is. I mean, you will bring so much value to your companies and to yourselves as individuals. It's just, you know, beyond me. I can't even, I don't have the monetary, so I'll just tell you the emotional. You'll just feel smarter, I think, also. Because when people are like, blah, 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 yeah, I checked out this Claude 3.7 whatever model yesterday. So, right, here's another QR code. You can also check out this one. I think this one leads to our website. If you have any more particular questions about anything about what I said, or if you would like to join our 31,000 network, I think that's another cool thing is if you do Le Wagon here, and then you decide to move to France, or you decide to go to Bali, or you decide to go to Japan, or you decide to go to Latin America, we have offices and we have people all over the world. And so it's an opportunity to move, to meet, to learn, to grow, and thank you. So for those of you who are joining us online, that concludes our evening. Thank you so much for being a part of our demo day for March 2026. Antoine, are we still on?